Huh. Iterary lunch.
With alliteration, apparently.
Say, you work at the Funplex, don't you?
Right, we've seen you walk past our doors every morning and evening.
Like clockwork, tick-tock.
Right. Sorry, I should have introduced myself. Floor attendant, Archangel at your service. I'm your inside guy for tokens and tickets.
Oh, we are lousy at video games.
Totally lousy.
But Francine's just a peach, isn't she?
Sweetest dame you'll ever meet.
I like these two. I like these two a lot.
Regardless, welcome to The Whole Story. I'm Ben.
I'm Matt.
No relation to the actors.
Although they're cuties, and so are we.
Oh, stop.
Stop being cute? Never.
I love these two. Oh, I love these two. Yes, Ben and Matt, yes. Apparently the sugar is available in forms other than round and holy.
Anyway, don't let us stop you from having fun on your little date.
Wouldn't dream of it.
See, even they see it. I'm wondering how Percy reacts to that. It's not a date. The heck it's not, Hark. What are you talking about? This is totes a date.
Just friends then? Friendly friends on a play date?
Yeah. Don't listen to them. This is totally a date. Don't listen to him at all.
Maybe the real date was the friends we made along the way.
Yes! Oh, I love these two. Matt! Oh, I love these two.
I'd say the real friends were the friends we made along the way.
Yes.
What if the way was also the real friends who were the real friends we made along the way?
Oh, I love these two.
Okay, now you're just being silly.
And how?
Whoever are voice acting these two, I know they must have had a ball, like, working on this.
Anyway.
These, I love these, Ben and Matt. They're so cool.
Next order, please.
The pair waves the next customers in as they return to Percy's table with our orders on a nicely decorated wooden tray. Ha! I'd have warned you, but honestly, Ben and Matt are best experience without spoilers. They invited me to their wedding, you know. I was new in town back then, but, well, they're kind hard to say the least. Percy opens the Douglas Adams book they gave him with his biscuits, but only peruses it lightly out of politeness to the booklenders. Soon we've devoured our food. It's probably not a very nourishing lunch all told, but the sweet treat does wonders for my mood. In addition to the hot ginger hunk. Except Percy definitely picks up on something being a little off. Penny for your thoughts? Oh, he wants to know what's on my mind. It's complicated. Penny for my thoughts then. No need to share yours if you're in no mood. He's so sweet. Okay. Seriously, why Mr. Moopy's Magic Maze? Why not? Because there's easier high scores out there to knock over. I looked it up on Twin Galaxies last night. That score stood for 30 years. And that's the challenge, isn't it? But I suppose it's not entirely the challenge that appeals to me. It's, well, how to put this? It's personal. Yeah, you said that last time. I need to know about this. If you don't want to talk about it, no, it's fine. I don't mind telling you, Hark. I wouldn't tell a complete stranger, but we're hardly strangers, yes?
Put simply, Moopy is... It was my little sister's favourite game. Dear little Stella.
Your little sister was? Ah!
My sister was a child prodigy. Leap ahead of the curve in every respect. Sharpest mind. Cleverest wit. The warmest heart.
I love the voice actor. I need to figure out who this voice actor is. He's great. And mazes. Oh, how she loved mazes. She had a gift for pattern recognition and optimization, a gift and a passion. It thrilled her to no end to take on a mental challenge and defeat it soundly. We got her books and books filled with mazes and puzzles, and she'd clear one of them every day, always wanted more to fill her dreary hours, but only so many mazes. To solve the problem, I've got her a handheld game console and a copy of Mr. Moopy's Magic Maze. Honestly, at the time, I knew next to nothing of video games. A friend of mine in arithmetic class suggested it. It took every scrap of pocket change I could muster buying that game for her. My family had next to no money, you see. A nobody family in a nothing village. Well, I suppose you can relate, yes? I can relate, yes? My family had a lot of troubles as well. I've struggled, yes, but tried to keep level. You noticed the pizza bagels, huh? My family had a lot of troubles as well. We started out with money, I guess, but that didn't last long. Eventually, things like video games were just out of reach. My parents loved me and tried so hard, but, well, the family curse kept getting in the way. Downsizing, pink slips, Bad luck, again and again. And yet here you are, doing what you love, despite it not quite alleviating all hardships. I made my choice. It's going to be fine. Everything is fine. As you say. So, the game helped feed my sister's need for greater and greater challenges. That's the key to Mr. Moopy, you see. It generates pseudo-random mazes. Pseudo? As opposed to, well, it's nearly 1980 technology. Depending on your path through the mazes, you can precede the randomness. It's part of the challenge, playing the game of the game. And Stella could play the game like no other, better than I could even. She'd no doubt have beaten the high score by now, her name up in lights as the champion to unseat a 30-year legacy. And that's why I'm a maniac for Mr. Moopy. That is a really sweet story. I mean, of all the sob stories that characters could have in games like this, I like that. There's charm in that one. Especially over a game called Mr. Moopy. I wait for him to continue, but nope, that's it. I think I understand, though. You're trying to beat it before she can. Stella can't take the score herself, not anymore. You're trying to beat it before she can. Stay quiet. Stella can't take the score herself, not anymore. You keep using the past tense when describing your sister. I'm sorry for your loss, Percy. I'm sure she was every bit as bright and clever and warm as you described. I wish I could have met her. Thank you, Hark. Her loss is... It certainly left a hole in the world. When she passed a few years ago, all her potential, all her brilliance, gone. Percy sighs deeply, letting the memory wash over him, and pass.
If not for the heart condition, despite everything we tried, everything I did, in the end, it was simply too much.
Heart condition.
And now, Mr. Moopy's my connection to Stella. She dreamed of beating it, but the little handheld version she had wasn't quite the equal of the original.
I see. So you're doing this for Stella. That is really sweet. Oh. Percy's amazing. He's awesome. I love him. He's so great.
So, one day, I'm going to take down the score, and I'm going to do it in her name.
I love... Okay, now I get it. Now I understand why the score is so important to him. Because at face value, you're like, really? This guy just all he cares about is the score? Really? He doesn't care about the passion of the game itself? And if you dig the layers underneath it, you see that there's more to it, which I love. I love about that. It's not... You can't take Percy at face value.
I'll put her initials at the top of that scoreboard. S-I-S.
Which also is Sis. That's really cool.
3.5 million points by Percival James Sinclair. Earned in honor of Stella Isabel Sinclair.
Percival James Sinclair. I like that. Percival James. One of my husband's middle names is also James.
I know that on that day, somewhere she'll be smiling at me and saying, "Good show, Percy. Good show."
Can I give you a hug now, Percy? Can I? Seriously, I want to hug this guy. Despite the sadness of the story, I can't help but smile at the ending. Well, on the day you beat the score for her, Flora Tinted Hark will be there to cheer you on. Thank you, love. It's appreciated. Beep, beep. Hark, lunch break's over. Back to the grindstone, eh? The arcade's not that grindy. Curious. Well, if you'll pardon the obtuse observation, you do seem to be going through the motions. Huh? No, I'm not. I'm having a blast there. By doing what needs doing, yes? Of course, I'm a diligent employee. I suppose it's a question of ambition, but it's not my place to judge, and you've work to do, yes?
Be seeing ya.
Go on. I'll return the tray and our books. Can't say I get what he meant by that. That was a cool date. I like that. That was a really cool first date with Percy. But he's right about one thing. There's work to do. I take my leave to return to the Funplex. Time for the afternoon shift. That's usually when things heat up after the quiet mornings. More kids coming in after school, more pro gamers rolling in with crews. I'm headed back to my desk, ready to take care of what needs taken care of, when I'm intercepted en route. Hark, Ashley, you're both back. Good, I was hoping to catch you before we left. Ooh, what's up? Hamza's up.
Okay.
He is? Huh. Okay. Ashley, I'll bring the van around shortly. Hark, you'll be flying solo today. Hang on, what's happening exactly? Who's Hamza? Hamza's a game finder and auctioneer, and gives next to no notice of when a new block of games will be going under the gavel, so we need to move. Ashley, Naomi, Francine, and I will be going to his auction for the rest of the afternoon while you run the Funplex. My first instinct is to nod and go along with it. Gavin's the law around these parts. But Percy's words are still dangling away in my mind. Doing what needs doing is great and all, but maybe I needed to step up a bit more. Plus, the idea of being trapped in here during our heaviest hours with no support was hardly appealing. Hey, what gives? I want in this too. Let me tag along. You're trusting the Funplex to the newbie? I might burn it down. How about Ashley and I swap places and I come with you? Hang out with Gavin? Oh yeah, sign me up. I like Gavin. I want to get to know Gavin more, because I understand Gavin too. How about Ashley and I swap places and I can come with you? Is there a reason it has to be Ashley and not me?
Nope.
Definitely not. He just needs muscle to help move games around. I've got muscle. Well, I've got a muscle or two. Just ask Naomi. I help her move games all the time. Yeah. I feel like such a third wheel at those auctions anyway. Let Hark be the third wheel and let me handle the floor. I'll be the finest third wheel you've ever met. Trust me. Plus, I really want to see what it's like at this game auction. That sounds cool. I want to do more than I've been doing. I want to be where the people are. I want to see them playing. I mean, I'm basically a Disney princess. I just want more with my life. I want more than what I have right now. I'm dreaming. Right? This is a place of dreams. That's what Francine said. Now I just need to be singing to some water and I'll be set. Different things, new things. Show some initiative, like... I suppose it wouldn't change much to bring Hark instead, but no costume time today, Ashley. I need non-plush fingers on duty in case of ticket jams. Pinky can stay in storage for the afternoon. I'm just happy to be helping folks out, one way or another. I need to go get the van. Wait up front, please. Ooh, I got myself a hangout time. A play date with Gavin. Because he's pretty hunky too. Although, I am probably, most likely, definitely going to be devoted to Percy. But, I still can, make good friends with Gavin. We'll probably be closed by the time you get back, so I'll see you in the morning. Floor attendant Ashley, away! Leaving me waiting outside with my two traveling companions. Not much time to chat, however, as Gavin pulls his van and a rental trailer around. Oh my, how exciting! I rarely go on adventures these days. Oh cool, and I get to go with Francine and Naomi. Ah, I love Naomi. Of all the girls, she's my favorite. She's my Irma. Irma from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's just a quick trip, ma'am. And a cute one at that. She's basically our Velma, our hot Velma. Any trip is an adventure if you make it one. Shall we? The four of us pile in, and it's off to the highway. Nice. Gavin, consulting the driving map on his phone, leads us out of the city via a series of weird turns and back roads. Trust me, this will save time in the long run. Where's Hazma set up this time? On site at some abandoned estate just outside town. It's about to be torn down, but they found a trove of arcade games in the basement. So exciting! I love raids! Arcade auctions. Raids. Auctions. You guys got an arcade to English dictionary I could borrow? Francine, without looking up from her knitting, answers. A raid is when a bunch of collectors get together and rescue games before they can be jumped by the original owner. An auction is when someone sells off their arcade games one at a time to a crowd of active bidders. So which is this, a raid or an auction? It's both, dearie. Hamza, that sweet boy, buys up private collections before they can be thrown away. He rescues them from that terrible fate and then auctions off his finds. Sort of. Okay, now I'm fuzzy on the sort of part. I'm the newbie here, remember? Well, okay, so Hazma obviously auctions off games for cash money, but he's a very whimsical kind of guy. Once I saw him trade off a vintage Burger Time. Oh, I played Burger Time. All these TMs, I'm surprised they were allowed to use all these trademark names. In exchange for someone's super secret chili recipe, passed down through generations of family. In other words, he's just on the edge of being a loon. This would be a lot simpler if it was just a raid. We pay up front, we declare what games we want, and cart them away. Instead, he ambushes us with these impromptu auctions and make us come down there and entertain his whims.
Wonderful.
I think it's sweet. He wants to make sure the games go to good homes, to people who really want them, even if they can't pay. And really, we should be honored we got an invitation. He's trying to cut out the big franchise arcades like Deco's Palace and help the little guys like us. It's inefficient and relies entirely on keeping on Hazma's good side. Huh. Gavin's right. This could be a lot simpler. Helping out the little guys sounds good here. How did you meet this Hazma guy anyway? Helping out the little guys sounds good here. Yeah, I mean, I want to agree with Gavin, I really do. But what I would actually say is helping the little guys out sounds good here. I'm guessing Hazma is the sort of person who would let a kid have the games of his dreams for free. He doesn't care about money, he cares about people, am I right? Correctamundo. Hazma's a great guy. Is he hard to predict? Sure. But he's got a big heart, and that means something in this business. Not enough big hearts left some days. Yes, because that's how you pay the bills and keep the doors open, by having a big heart. Hey now, having a big heart definitely helps with morale, which can help with your business, because if your employees aren't happy, they're gonna leave. And that's expensive. People like leaving because they don't have high morale. Or burning out. I won't deny we can sometimes squeak out a trade that's practically a steal thanks to his personal modus operandi, but let's not push too far here. At least Gavin recognizes that too a little bit. We need to temper our expectations a little, I suspect.
I think not.
We don't have room to add many more games, especially relics like Hazma usually deals in. What about the off-site storage unit? We can just rotate games in and out more often. Nearly full of bursting, and not cheap for us to rent on a monthly basis. I'm not saying we have to go home empty-handed. Certainly a few holes in our roster we can fill, should we find an excellent deal and beat the other bidders. But consider this, above anything else, a way to maintain relations with Hazma, even if we don't end up bidding.
Aww. Now, Naomi. Gavin knows the numbers. I'm in favor of making our little funplex more and more fun, but floor space is finite.
I agree with that. Quality over quantity.
And Gavin, remember, if we find some darling little game Naomi would lavish adoration upon, we can always retire an older game. Life, my young friends, is a series of trade-offs.
I only just realized, looking at this is clearly the Mystery Machine. Clearly. Look at that. Look at the paint job. 100%. Well, isn't it better to, just settle and compromise all the time?
Well, now, there are trade-offs, and there are trade-offs. It's silly to say that you should never compromise, as silly as it is to say you should always compromise. It's what you compromise that defines who you are.
I like that. I've never heard that before. I like that. It's silly to say you should never compromise, as silly as to say you should always compromise. It's what you compromise that defines who you are. It's a bit of a long quote, but I like that. That's really cool. I like that.
You're all so young yet. You've time to make mistakes in learning what trade you need to make.
Francine is a wise woman. Unless you don't make rent on your apartment, or your stomach's growling. I like that. It's that practical side. That is a practical side of things that I appreciate. Iris and Juniper have pushed me to stop settling for less out of life, to stand up for myself and my happiness. And I've done just that, without regret, so everything should be fine now, right? Right? New default topic diversion, the weather. Well, at least it's a nice day for an outing, right? Oh, come on. Wonderful. Glad I packed plastic bags to wrap cabinets in just in case. That's how Gavin, always thinking ahead. Trying to protect your investments, huh? From Hazma's invitation, it seems this arcade was largely abandoned and left to rot. I'd rather not add water damage to the ailments the games are already suffering. It's so sad when we come across a wonderful game that's just ruined beyond repair. Most collectors show their collections a lot of love, but others just don't care. You find old games in barns, exposed to the elements, and falling apart. I suppose this is one thing we can easily agree on. It's important to take care of your games. For their resale value, you mean? A broken game's no fun to play with, and it's a shame to see a classic in terrible condition. Consider pinball. Pinball games are very prone to breakdowns, particularly older ones. To experience them in their glory, you need to show them care. Even beyond the busted game earning no quarters, it feels like a waste to allow an enjoyable game to lie fallow. A waste of true potential. Huh, good point. Glad to see these two getting along better, even if Naomi kept preemptively attacking him along the way there. She totally wants to jump his guts. Totally wants to jump into his pants. With the rain pounding down on the van roof, conversation gets a bit difficult, and I ship it 100%. Gradually, everybody resumes fiddling about with their phones, knitting or driving. Leaving me to wonder, exactly where is this auction or raid happening anyway? We've been driving for some time, leaving the city far behind. What would a massive trove of arcade games be doing this far out into the sticks? Maybe it's some closed down roller rink, or an old bowling alley, or maybe it's a creepy old house that's likely haunted by exactly 87,194 ghosts. Hence the name of this level. Ah, the classic Angel Luck in play. So majestically awful. I think this is awesome, actually. Gavin pulls up alongside any number of other vans and trucks. We are here a little late, it seems. Good grief, is this really the auction site? Creepy. Definitely creepy. At least an 8 on creepometer. They totally... So wait a minute. We've got ghosts, haunted mansion, we've got the mystery machine. So we've got Naomi as Velma, I guess Fred. I guess Gavin is Fred, which would make Francine Daphne, and I guess I would be Shaggy, I guess. Interesting. An old home is character, I feel. Let's not judge it by the exterior, shall we? With all speed, the group hurries inside to get away from the weather. Zoinks! A large group is already gathered in the foyer of the crumbling estate, but one rushes forward to greet us in a blur as the others pay little mind.
Greetings, friends.
That's Hazma. I like him already.
Hamza welcomes our friends from the Funplex. Welcome, welcome.
I like this already.
Gavin, stalwart as ever. Naomi, love what you've done with your hair. Miss Francine, a beauty surpassed only by your wisdom.
She's right about that. She is wise. Oh, fresh. I ship
And
these two.
a new player, it seems. Who might you be?
Oh, yes, a new player. Archangel.
I see. Greetings to you and yours. I am known as Hamza, seeker of antiquity, finder of things lost, player of games.
I like this guy.
And welcome to, well, not my home, but a place where Hamza shall provide hospitality regardless.
Kind of a dump, isn't it? Seeker of Antiquity? 1980X is antique? Thank you for your gracious invitation. Thank you for your gracious invitation. Thank you for gracious invitation, Mr. Hamza. I understand you only invite a select few? The Funplex is proud to accept your summoning. Now you sound like me. Indeed, I am very careful who I allow to my events. These machines deserve owners who respect and appreciate them. Hamza will accept nothing less. I'm curious how my... Wow, look at my score with... Whoa, look at that. I've got huge points with Percy. And Theo is right there in the middle, which seems about right. A lot with Naomi, which also feels about right. Alas, I have not a moment to enjoy your fine company, Archangel. Perhaps later, but for now, it is time. Clapping twice for attention, Hamza rallies the small crowd in the room to begin the proceedings. Friends, companions, longtime allies of the noble art of the arcade, welcome to Donnawood. Its story begins nearly 30 years ago when legendary pop musician Donna Michaels, singer of such hits as Thrilling and Mama Don't Mope, did a stately pleasure dome decree. Is that supposed to be Donna Michaels? So that's Michael Jackson and Madonna. Because it's like Thrilling instead of Thriller and Mama Don't Mope instead of Papa Don't Preach. That's clever game. Did a stately pleasure dome decree. Here the reclusive idol crafted a private amusement park, a petting zoo, and an arcade. Alas, she could only enjoy this paradise for a short 10 years before her tragic death. Ooh. There should have been lightning there. Needless to say, the estate has fallen on hard times ever since. In this year it shall be torn down to make way for condominiums. But not before we have our say.
Friends, those games that Donna Michaels cherished still lurk one floor below, ready to be rescued from such a terrible fate. It is our moral imperative to do so. I have paid the estate owners a princely sum for the entire lot. Now, Hamza parcels them out to you. By all means, browse the collection. See which pieces sing out to you. On the far table, you shall find refreshments.
Wow.
Grapes, sparkling wine,
Wow.
and delicacies from my travels.
Ooh.
Mingle, cavote, and we shall begin the auction in 1 hour's time.
I'm all over the delicacies. I'm all over the food. Indeed, a lavishly arranged table that probably cost more than any single arcade game to put together is descended upon by the invitees soon after. I feel like I'm attending some ancient Roman celebration of debauchery and gluttony, not an arcade raid, or an arcade auction, or whatever. Donna Michaels? I knew it! I should have recognized Donna Wood when we pulled in, but it was raining too hard. Who? You've never heard of Donna Michaels? She was the hottest musical act of 1980X. Naomi, I was born in 1990X. I'm totally plugging my phone into the van stereo so we can blast Girls Just Wanna Play Games all the way home. Girls just wanna play games. Oh, girls just wanna. But first, I'm gonna go check out the cabinets in their arcade. I'm not really into mingling. Later. She dashes off with all speed, heading for the stairs leading below. I suppose I should go network a bit. Hamza's events always draw an interesting crowd of rival arcade owners. I'm going with Gavin. I'm the people person. I love games too, don't get me wrong, I would follow Naomi. But I want to mingle and meet people and have some food. That's number one. And B, Gavin's easy on the eyes, so I want to get on his good side. Heading for the foodstuffs, Gavin arranges himself a plate, so he has an excuse to hang around and eavesdrop on the other collectors. I want some of that food. Leaving me to, do stuff. Now I see why Ashley was bored at these events. Gavin schmoozes, Naomi analyzes vines, and Francine's already napping in a chair. I've got nothing to do. Just follow Gavin. Well, when in doubt, find someone who knows what they're doing and stick to them like glue. Go browse with the games with Naomi, schmooze alongside Gavin. I don't mind schmoozing as close to Gavin as need be. I already get my fill of arcade games on a daily basis. No need to go stare and wonder at dusty boxes. I'm curious about what's cooking up here with these other arcade owners, so I seek out Gavin to watch and learn from the master. Gavin, armed with a small plate of delicacies, is hanging back for now and sizing up the competition. A perfect moment for me to slide on up and have a chat with him. So, any friends in attendance tonight?
I'd hardly call anyone in this room a friend. Not even Hamza. You'd be better off not seeing them that way either. These are our colleagues. Somewhere between an ally and an enemy. A rival, perhaps.
If you say so. That's a bit of a cold way of looking at it.
It's practical. I can't afford to invest any real emotional currency in any of these people. Not when I have to look out after my own.
Naomi would argue he has a hard time investing any real emotion currently in his own people, but he's too focused on the crowd to get into that right now.
While I'm friendly with plenty of folks, I do hesitate to declare pure friendship. It wouldn't be fair to the other person.
How do you figure?
Consider a true unfettered friendship. The kind with no conflicts of interest, no strings attached. It's difficult when you're in the same business together. If I'm friends with another arcade owner, I'm liable to make bad business decisions that help out my friend, and vice versa. I wouldn't want to burden them with that.
I can see where you're coming from, Gavin. Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
Either I hurt my business and my fellow employees, which would be disastrous, or they hurt theirs to better support me and mine. It's messy.
I understand that. That's a really interesting perspective, Gavin.
Better to be friendly than friends, for all involved.
Okay, I get it. Yeah, I can 100% understand what he's saying.